So this dock, right here, a famous person was murdered here, and we want to tell the story about it. Everybody knows in Bay City that Madonna's from Bay City. Everybody knows that. Whoop-de-fucking-do, it's Madonna. Very little people know that also from Bay City was Fabian Fournier. It says that right there. And he was also known as, he became the legend of Paul Bunyan. See, because of this river and all the trees that were here, Bay City was one of the number one, well, it was actually considered Saginaw back then, but Bay City was one of the number one spots for lumbering and lumberjack industry and all that. So he moved from Canada as a lumberjack up there, came down here. He was 6 feet tall. Mind you, this is back in the 1800s where the average man was like 5'3", like him. And so he was considered really tall. And that's how it warped into the legend of a giant. But your happy memories of good old jolly Paul Bunyan, well, he wasn't that good, he wasn't that jolly. He got drunk a lot, he got in lots of fights. And he would usually win because of how big he was. He was a big, scary dude. And one day, multiple people ganged up on him, and they beat him to death right here on this dock. And threw his body into the river. His body was collected somewhere down there. And his skull was used in evidence during the trial. And the people got like 30 years in prison. In the prison cell back then, the prison cells is where the old town restaurant, or the old town hall restaurant is right now. Mm-hmm. And they only had 2 cells back then.
Damn.
So yeah. But yeah, so this is where Paul Bunyan was about to get into a fight and had his skull bashed in with a hammer and was brutally murdered and thrown into the river. And like I said, he was 6 foot tall. Back then people were shorter, so he was considered a giant. That's how it warped into the legend of a giant. The Blue Ox, I don't know where that came from, if you're familiar with that story. But yeah,
that probably originated from some other state.
Yeah.
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 Because Paul Bunyan is well known not just throughout Michigan.
Also, Minnesota is a big state where he's supposedly from, but he's not from Minnesota. He lived the last 20 years of his life here. So anyways, he was a lumberjack in Canada, moved here, and spent the last 20 years of his life here doing lumberjacking. And the reason why he got in so many fights, there's the antique store, which we were just at, which is on the upstairs. Anyways, the reason why he got in fights here was this section of downtown Bay City was and still is known as Hell's Half Mile, where lumberjacks would come after a long day of work, go to the bar, get drunk, get in fights, do gamblings and money laundering, or not laundering, but bet on card games and stuff. And also, prostitution was a big thing back then, and they would fuck prostitutes over here too. But yeah, just think about it. Fuck Madonna. Paul Bunyan was in Bay City, and he was thrown over this ledge, or that ledge maybe, I don't know. And
came and got killed in Bay City, Michigan.
Bay City, Michigan, and he died here. So yeah, that's just a little interesting fact about Bay City, is that Paul Bunyan was from Bay City. Anyways, we're going to film one more video, but I'm hungry, and first we're going to eat, so I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.
Oh, and this is an episode of The Night Shift, which is usually a podcast, but and podcasts aren't supposed to be video oriented, and this is obviously a video, as you can tell, but this is still part of The Night Shift podcast, so there's just every once in a while we'll have a treat, and we'll have actual video for you.
Yeah.
So anyways, alright, well, I'll let you guys go. Have a good one.
Take care.